read this in the news a while ago that there was a town in California that was going to start giving its black residents reparations. And they just got approved by the city council to start giving out reparations to niggas. And where do I sign up? I'm about to move out there. I'm always in Cali anyway, so where do I get my reparations? I need to be at the front of the line. I don't give a fuck. If you giving reparations to give niggas, give it to the real niggas. Reparations is crazy. Donald Trump is about to see this morning and wake up and go crazy. Y'all not giving niggas no reparations. The white people is about to go so crazy over this. Could you imagine if reparations really start going out to black people? Because we're going to drag it. We're going to drag it. Where's mine? Every city, state in America, niggas, everything. Where's the money? Where's the money? If you start giving out reparations in one town to black people, we need to drag it to hell and back. We need to go to hell, drag it, get Satan, and bring that nigga back up here. Because where's my reparations? I'm gonna just start claiming 100-year-old black people, saying that's my grandmother. This is my great-great-grandmother. She was a slave, plantation owner daughter. Where's her reparations? Where's the check at? Because if y'all niggas giving out reparations, it's gonna look like the Chappelle episode. It's gonna look worse than the pandemic. Niggas gonna have Louis, Gucci on top to Louis on top to Gucci. Oh, YSL everywhere. It's gonna smell like YSL all over. Teflon is gonna sell $1 billion of bags. If you niggas give out reparations in this economy, when people are struggling to make ends meet, with gas is almost $4 again, thanks Donald Trump. This is not gonna fly. This is how the Civil War starts again. Civil War Part 2. If you give out niggas reparation, because then here go the Spanish people and all the Asian people and all the other people, where's my reparations? You niggas was not slaves like that, all right? You niggas was not slaves. You wasn't picking cotton in this temperature. Georgia and you southern states, y'all got to pay. This is not going to fly down south. This is where the Civil War is going to start out again, down south. Because South Carolina and the Piggly Wigglies and all these places is not going to be want to paying niggas. Georgia is not going to be paying niggas reparations because y'all owe billions of dollars. Could we even calculate how much reparations that black people are owed? We are behind everything. We are the culture. We are the world. We are the essence. We are the magic. We are the melanin. So you can't put a price on our black experience, but you can give me $2.4 million a nigga. Y'all got to break it up for every nigga in America. And none of you mulatto niggas, you half-breed niggas, and you bunch you other people, you need to be full black or half black. And your daddy got to be black. He got to be my complexion, my shirt complexion, to see if you qualify. You got to have somebody in your family tree that look like me, real dark. Yo.
Okay, somebody in the family tree. I was about to say now, my pops don't. But okay, we all should have somebody in the family tree. But no, I agree with him. I was going to say, if they did give out reparations, the calculations won't be calculating. I mean, how much y'all going to give out? We need about 100 million each. Real talk, divide. Okay, how much is America worth? Divide that up amongst all of us. Whatever that number is, whatever those figures are, that's how much we need for real.
You niggas give out reparation. Trump is going to personally get in a tricycle or something and go to Cali and try to stop this. This is crazy. I'm going to do a part 2 on this because this is insane. Can we talk about it?
So Alameda County in the Bay Area of California has approved a policy-driven reparations plan for black residents. And you got people bitching and moaning that they're going to leave. Good riddance. Because you have places like Russell City that existed for 100 years, that stopped existing as recently as 1964 with a lot of the last buildings being victims of arson fire. What a coincidence. And now it's just warehouses and factories. Alameda County is also where the Black Panther Party set up shop in 1966. And again, these are policy-driven reparations, implementing policies designed to create lasting institutional change rather than issuing individual checks. The black community needs to fix itself, and then the black community starts to fix itself, and there's a problem. And the only problem is the problem that you have with blackness. I started this book yesterday, and I'm only on the introduction. And one of the things it touched on is how in the 1900s, European immigrants were able to shed their criminal identities, where black people weren't. One of the reasons being they weren't even vilified at the peak of their criminality as much as black people were. Sociologists like Charles R. Henderson saying things like, the evil of immigrant crime is not so great as statistics carelessly interpreted might prove. But about black people, he said, racial inheritance, physical and mental inferiority, barbarian and slave ancestry and culture are among the most serious factors in crime statistics. And thus the white criminals were established as redeemable, whereas the black criminals weren't. So when they're no longer Italian, Irish, etc., and they start implementing policies designed to create lasting institutional change, it's accepted and they're accepted as Americans. But that same energy isn't applied to black people.
Through their laws, through the judicial system, this is how they kept us behind. This is how they got their head start. I don't think they would give out reparations in such a time where the others are struggling bad. Now, they wouldn't allow us to be on top. They wouldn't like that. Even though that's how it's supposed to be. We supposed to be the head, not the tail. Above and not below. So they going to have to give them out. Y'all don't, then y'all going to have to pay. And we not talking about monetarily either. They going to have to pay. And they know they going to have to pay. That's why I don't feel like they going to give nothing out. I feel like it's all talk. We've been hearing this throughout the years. We've heard this plenty of times. It never really happened. I don't think they going to pass it. What y'all think? If they do, it's going to be some type of catch. It's going to be stable coins. It's going to have an expiration date, and they're going to determine what you can and can't buy with it. You're going to have to spend it right away, and it's going to cycle right back into their hands immediately within a month.
If black people are handed $300,000, it's not going to be well spent.
I wouldn't say I would spend $300,000. It would be well spent with me.
But the average person wouldn't. We need financial
I can't
literacy.
say that.
We need education.
We do need financial
and
literacy
things
and
of that
education.
nature.
But you can't say like and generalize it, and it still doesn't defeat the point.
I mean, it's like with COVID stimulus. I mean, not black people. That's just anybody. Look what they spent that on.
I don't have nothing to do with them. If people get their reparations and then they don't spend it correctly, then that has nothing to do with us.
This would be like telling a mother what to do with child support, right? So
Yeah.
you're kind of tapping into that in the wrong direction.
I don't think the young do it wrong. I think there does need to be a system in place. We need the education. We need financial literacy. We need to know how to spend it, where to spend it, how to invest it. I'm talking about all of this information. There's an information curve that we would need to learn. And I also feel 300K ain't enough. It's a start. Maybe that'd be the first payment that goes out. Maybe we get 300,000 every quarter for the next 10 years or something. It got to be some years now. It got to add up to a few million. And I think that's being lenient. The Rothschilds family were worth trillions. All of the wealth that's been acquired, we really have to calculate it to determine how much needs to be divvied out. I might be being generous with saying some millions. We might need billions. What y'all think? I don't know. I mean, I think billions. If they became billionaires, then we gonna need some billions.
So Ghana, Barbados, and Jamaica are pushing the conversation about reparations for the transatlantic slave trade. Are they justified? In case we didn't know, in 2025, Ghana led a UN resolution recognizing the transatlantic slave trade and racialized chattel enslavement as the gravest crime against humanity. USA, Argentina, and Israel voted against it. Then in June 2026, Barbados, led by the Prime Minister Mia Mottley, is pushing reparations forward, demanding compensation from Britain. And most recently, Jamaica's Prime Minister Andrew Holness has also been advancing Jamaica's reparation campaign. But here is what gets interesting. Because when slavery was abolished, the Africans who were enslaved weren't compensated. It was actually the slave owners who received compensation, and their descendants have benefited to this very day. So let's look at who benefited. Britain, France, Spain, Portugal, the Netherlands, Denmark, Sweden, the United States. Oh yeah, there was compensation for former slave owners in those countries. But again, not the people who were enslaved. Would the economic value of these rich countries have still existed without the exploitation of enslaved Africans? No. The last country to abolish slavery in the Americas was Brazil in 1888. Damn, Portugal! You see, Portugal trafficked more Africans across the Atlantic than any of the other European powers. I think Brazil should be seeking reparations next. And here's the part that really made me stop. Britain transported approximately 3.1 million Africans across the Atlantic. Enslaved labor produced cotton, sugar, and tobacco. Those goods were shipped. Ships needed insurance, merchants made money, ports generated economic activity, and profits were invested in land, financial assets, and other forms of capital. But we're talking about an entire slave-dependent economic system. Now, I wanted to know, how much wealth did Britain make from enslaved labor? And what's the accumulative dollar value or amount today? My reconstruction puts Britain's total slave-dependent economic activity through abolition at roughly 1.6 billion in historical pounds. But that's not the same thing as accumulated wealth. Barbados says it is owed 4.9 trillion in reparations, while
See what I'm saying? You see why I said those figures?
estimates cited by the Caribbean reparations movement put Britain's total liability to 14 Caribbean nations at around 24 trillion, and that's USD. The total financial harms calculated across all European slave trading nations in the Western Hemisphere is 131 trillion US dollars.
Sheesh. Yeah, run that check. We made trillions for this wicked world. Trillions off of slave labor. Our blood, sweat, and tears through all the years. We need land, we need money, we need a little bit of everything if y'all gonna give us some reparations. At this point, ain't no point in even giving us nothing, because if it ain't gonna be a little bit of everything y'all built, we don't want it.
You see, the wealth generated by slavery didn't just disappear after slavery ended. It became property, factories, financial assets, inherited fortunes, and Britain actually paid former slave owners 20 million pounds. I do mean to sound like a broken record. The formerly enslaved received nothing. If one group was forcibly exploited for labor and another group accumulated wealth from that system, and then that wealth was passed down, invested, and compounded. And abolition doesn't necessarily mean the economic consequences disappeared. In my opinion, I believe the former slave owners' descendants should pay a huge portion of reparations. I mean, they're still making money off the backs of my ancestors. And that is the rabbit hole I'm going down next.
Right. So they were able to inherit wealth, compound wealth, build generational wealth on top of the wealth that was already accumulated. They should have to pay monthly reparation checks, all of them. It comes out of their bank account automatically every single month. Direct deposit into the descendant of slaves' bank accounts. I think it's fair, right? We talking about what's fair. We're not asking for it all. We're just asking for what's owed to us. Do y'all think they'll go through with reparations? Me personally, I don't think they will. I think it's just something to get us excited, to distract us from the other things that are going on. I think it's more false hope.